Hey, and welcome to Getting Down with the Pickleball with your host, Dr. Don, the killer pickler and sex therapist, and me, Tony, the sidekick who asks the questions, gets the news and all the updates, and all the pickleball antics you can handle. And now, it's Dr. Don.
Hi, y'all. Welcome to Getting Down with the Pickleball. This is your host, Dr. Don, the Pickler, with your pickleball news, antics, and more. Okay, pickleball fanatics, let me serve this up to you. A few weeks ago, I got an email from the club that I play pickleball at. And in the email, it said that we needed to watch our salty language. And it struck me that they're probably talking about me because I just can't help myself on the court. I swear and I say the word shit and it just comes out, and it's not directed at anyone. It's when I maybe miss the ball or I don't serve well, I just swear. I think a lot of people do that. So anyway, after I got the email, I go to the court and I see all my friends there and everyone's looking at me and I'm looking at them. They're like, "Did you get that email?" I'm like, "Yeah, it was definitely directed at me." They're like, "No, it was directed at me because I'm always swearing on the court." So as it turns out, everyone thought it was directed at them. Well, we came to find out, or we were asking or wondering, like, who's gonna turn us in for this salty language? Like, who's the one person that's gonna rat us out? I mean, we're all adults. It's not like there's children on the court or anything, and we're out there having a fun time. We should be able to use a few swear words here or there. Well, we came to the conclusion that there's this one guy who really is over the top. And it's not that he is swearing to himself. He is swearing to other people. We kind of believe it was directed at him, but we're not entirely sure. But I also wanted to see if other people at other clubs or on other courts swear too. So I posted this question on my Facebook page, or a Facebook page, a pickleball one. There's about maybe 89,000 people who are on that page. And I said, "Hey, do you swear on the pickleball courts? And if you do, what is the one word that you use?" Most of the people answered that they do swear and that the word that they use is shit. I think that it's important when we're on the pickleball court, of course, not to be rude and not to direct it at anyone else. Also, the other thing I find hilarious is some of the most prim and proper people on the court will also be swearing. So it really goes across the board. But like I said, don't swear at anyone else. If it is offending someone, maybe just pull back a little bit because you have to be respectful. And that was my funny story of the day. Well, speaking of something to curse about, all right, my fellow picklers, here is your second serve.
Second serve.
I can't believe what happened in the House.
Current events and hot topics of the day.
I am talking about Congress, of course, that they took 15 times to elect the Speaker of the House. I mean, who gets 15 chances at anything in life, let alone a vote for something? This hasn't happened in over 100 years where something like this took place in Congress, so it's kind of rare. But then again, 15 times. I think this is kind of crazy. But you know what? That's Congress for you. It's kind of sad, I think. And for my final serve.
Final serve.
Let's move on to the pickleball news with a more inspiring story that I would like to share with you.
It's time for Pickleball News.
This has to do with a 15-year-old boy named Raymond Carrion. And he just won gold in a recent pickleball tournament. And what's so inspiring about this young man is he was born with cerebral palsy. He was not able to play in most sports, but he seemed to really get addicted to pickleball, and he plays with people that are much older than him. What I love is this kid's determination and his passion, and I think it's wonderful for other teens who maybe have some other disabilities that could be depressed, to see that somebody really went for something that they liked. And I'll also say I hold the parents in high esteem because they must have really told this kid, you can do anything you want. and not because you're disabled by this or that maybe you have problems with your body or whatever, that they looked at him as you can do this and supported him. And I think that's some really good parenting. And I have 2 kids. And I would like to say that I hope that I could do something like that for my children, or I did that for my kids. Yeah, just a wonderful, inspiring story. And the other thing about pickleball that is so wonderful is you can really get into the sport and you don't have to be super athletic because it's really a game of skill. If you go up to the kitchen and you're dinking, things that maybe bother you in your body. There's a lot of people out there in their 70s and their 80s who are really good pickleball players that may have a bad back or a bad knee, or they just can't move fast enough, but they're out there playing every day and they're just having a really good time. 70s and their 80s who are really good pickleball players that may have a bad back or a bad knee, or they just can't move fast enough, but they're out there playing every day and they're just having a really good time. I think the sport can be appealing to all ages. You don't have to feel left out. The sport really is wonderful for everybody. And that's your pickleball news and antics for the day. This is your host, Dr. Dawn, and we'll be back with my co-host, Tony, right after this message.
Hey, and we're back here with Dr. Dawn and the pickleball crew of the Picklers. And so, Miss Dawn, wow, but let's just hit it right off the bat. 15 times. I wanted to go to cursing, but let's do cursing first. You get an email telling you think that you're the culprit. Please curb your mouth while playing the game. You're a little outlandish somehow.
Salty.
Salty, is that was it? So.
Yeah, salty.
Well, if anyone's played sports, and I've played sports over half my life, cursing is always part of any sport at any game. I'm sure you've seen it mouthed many a times on TV by head coaches or players, even refs sometimes. It's really hard to not do that because a lot of people do it against themselves. They're angry with themselves. It was their mistake. They blew it. Sounds like, though, you seem to think it's a certain person that kind of initiated it and then got everybody in trouble.
Well, I think that looking back on it, most of the people are cursing to themselves. They're not cursing at anyone else. So when you have maybe one person that sticks out that's been a little more vocal or says stuff that's rude, then you kind of think, maybe they're talking about that person. But I'm not 100% correct on that, or that might not be 100% true, because maybe we did offend one person and they went and tattled on us, which kind of sucks because we're all adults, right? And,
okay, but you have some older women out there, older than you, we'll say, and they're out there just mother bleeper, mother bupper bleeping, beeping, beeping, beep.
Not quite.
I can't see that.
No, well, not quite.
I can see them saying, "Oh, cranky."
No,
or,
they say no. Oh shit. That
Just
seems to
straight
be shit. That seems to be it.
So these are more hip 70-year-old women.
Well, no, I mean
they're from the 70s. 60s. So
60s, 70s, men and women, and they'll say sorry afterwards. They'll be like, "Oh, I meant it towards myself," or so they'll put a "I'm sorry" at the end. They'll be like, "Shit, oh, I'm sorry."
Okay, but that's why I ask you: do people on the other side of the court think you're yelling at me about something you blew?
No.
So no one feels that they're being shouted at or being aggressive on, except for that one person you mentioned that had no problem maybe jumping over the net and start cursing at someone for something else because his wife didn't help him out that morning. Some bad stock happened, so he wanted to take it out on an old lady, and those nice little like grandma mommy style lady.
Yeah, maybe, or maybe he didn't get what he needed. I don't know.
Right. Well, but in
any event, I can tell you one thing. When we got the message that it was salty language, we've kind of been putting salty in sometime to remember to say it. So everyone's just laughing and making a joke about it. And nobody thinks that saying shit or, more foul language is directed at them. Nobody does.
So no one's out there going, "Oh, that's salty shit." No one's yelling.
Oh, to another person?
Yeah, or they blew it. No salty sheet.
No, but they're just not saying like the person across the way that maybe banged you in the eye. They're not turning around and saying, "You asshole, why'd you bang me in the eye?" They're still.
They
not
just turn around and go salty.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But according to you, or when you had posted it on the kind of the pickle
Facebook.
world, Facebook pickleball thread, obviously super common, like I mentioned before with most sports. That was the number one word, though. That was the quickest way to say. So the F word, F-bombs, never you hear about.
No, I do, and I've
Oh,
said
okay.
them, but not as frequently. I mean, the one word that I hear quite frequently is shit.
All right. It's tough, though, because...
You
it's
know, you
just
don't
tough.
hear someone out there saying, "Hey, motherfucker." I mean, I shouldn't be saying that now.
Yeah, you could have just said, "Hey, you mother bleeper." No,
Yeah.
you had to go ahead and do it. Now I got to edit
Well,
that.
you don't hear that.
No, I just need to edit that crap out. All right, well, I was just curious because that's bizarre that everyone got it. It's like, but it's all contagious there at the court, at the club, and it's become an issue.
Well, it's
Obviously.
become a joke now, a running joke.
Yeah, but it was an issue. Some were offended. Some were like, "I'm just out here to have a good time. Why are you people saying all this stuff? I don't need to hear this.
Well, but
I get it at home."
But do you? I bet you do. But, there was a little bit of... So now when we go in the court and if we do say a word, once in a while you'll hear somebody say, "Oh, just say salty instead," which kind of ruined it a little bit. But, you just kind of ignore that.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to stop a habit. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, people, if you only saw the faces this woman makes. Anyway, I'd like to get on to the next subject, but we're going to have to take a quick break. And when we do, we'll be back with the doctor trying to figure out a few of these weird things that are going on, not only in this regular Johnny world, but also on the pickleball court. So stay tuned. And we're back with Getting Down with the Pickle. Dr. Don, I'm Tony, and we've been kind of laughing in between the break here and funny things, but...
Yeah, I was laughing at, so what is the Johnny world, Tony?
The Johnny world, our world. There's like the Dear Johns, the regular world. I just call it that. It's just the Johnny world, Johnny John and the Jane Does, those people that are us. We're just the guys living in this world. And when we see weird stuff happening, or you hear it on a pickleball court, there's always a reaction like this whole 15-time thing. Impossible. No one does that. And I don't care if that's in regards to someone's relationship or the same marriage with your work. That's impossible. You wouldn't keep a job after 1 or 2 times sometime. So at 15 times, this person gets to keep going until he wins. That's like playing any sport. "Oh, I missed that free throw one more time. Oh, I couldn't do that serve one more time. No, but I could win and if you give me 14 more tries." That's insane.
Well, that's Congress. It's just like no term limits where everyone there is like 80 plus years old. Half of them don't even remember what they're talking about. Not quite sure this Speaker of the House is going to be much better, but we'll see. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you get 15 tries, but is he going to do that every time now? Is that now going to be what you think life will be in that world forever? So every time we try to get something passed or a vote, we can just go until we win or till they make it win.
Well, I think part of the process was that the people that were not voting for him, they came up with some conditions that now the Speaker of the House is going to have to meet. I believe that if he does not follow through with what they said, that they can vote him away with 1 vote. So it turned out to be good, I think, in the end, because maybe something will get done in the House. Maybe something will get done for your average American. We'll have to see.
Yeah, but we got to cut that number down. I mean, if we were on the pickleball court and you were serving to me and you felt that wasn't a good one, let me do it over, a do-over. Mm-hmm. And you think I'm going to say yeah?
No.
Of course not. No. Of course not. So anything, in any type of a situation?
Anything. And I don't know anything other than our Congress who gets to have 15 times. I mean, think about it.
What was the record before? If this was the first time it's been in 100 years that it took that many.
I think this is the record.
Oh, fantastic. Only in our years.
Yeah.
In our Johnny world.
In our Johnny world.
It would have to happen.
Well, we are living in some crazy times right now.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, we are. And it ain't just about the Johnnies.
Or the pickleball.
Yeah. So let me get to these terms again, because last time we did this, and if you were with us, we were talking about bangers, we were talking about backswingers, and we were talking about spinners. Interesting. So I have a couple of little things I'd like to throw at you since you're the pickler. And again, picklers are the whole fanatic of this phenom called pickleball. What do you think, if you could give me the answer in kind of a better term than a casual term, of what a dink shot is?
Oh, a dink. Well, a dink is where you come up to the kitchen, but you can't step in the kitchen unless someone throws a dink on your side, where you then can step in the kitchen and dink it back. But you really just, I don't know, to me it reminds me a little bit of ping pong, where you're hitting the ball back and forth with more precision, more patience, and it's not like you're going to be, banging someone up. You see if you can get in and win a point. So I don't know, I think that's what the point of dinking is.
Wow, that was a very elongated answer, and I don't know if you ever took a breath in that. But let me give you the true answer.
Oh, okay.
A soft shot that arcs over the net and falls into the opposing non-volley zone. So that's the kitchen, right? And that's it, just a little dink. Like if you find a little dink on a man and you say...
What?
Well, when you find a little dink on a man.
What's that?
Okay, so let's say his nostril hair is sticking out, or his ear hair, or let's say he missed a spot shaving and he had a dink of,
That's what you're calling a dink? I thought you were referring to something below the belt.
His dink shot.
Oh, okay.
Well, now that's what a dink shot is in the
pickleball
I guess the
world.
glossary, the complete glossary and terminology of pickleball terms. But tell me what the difference is from a drop shot.
Oh, well, I think that let's talk about your third drop shot. That's what I refer to. You hit the ball so that it's close to the kitchen or in the kitchen, and it's difficult for the player to get it who's in the back of the court. Am I correct on that?
I would say you're pretty close. The way you play, you just explained it like you play it.
Yes.
Like if that's what I was playing.
Yeah.
It's in that vein. It's like a soft shot that clears the pickleball net and then falls short of the opposing player. So he's at the back line, and you just do a smaller shot, a softer shot, a drop shot in front of him where he may not react in time to hit it back, or he's too far away to even get to it. So there you go. You have a drop shot. You have a dink shot. But here's the first thing that no one will ever get. Dill ball.
Oh, wow. A dill ball? Like after a dill pickle? Really?
Dill ball.
A deal or a dill?
Dill, as in a pickle, right.
Oh my God, this is crazy. They actually have that?
As in not in anyone's dink, but a dill ball.
Okay, let me take a shot at this one. A dead ball?
No, that isn't an exact term, and I'll just because you said it, I'll give you that answer, but I need dill ball.
I have no idea what a dill ball is.
Okay, well.
Do I want to know what a dill ball is?
You know where it is, in the grocery store in the lower end of the refrigerated area.
What, the dill pickle?
The dill ball. Anyway, the shot is a shot that is in bounds and has bounced once. A live ball.
What?
That you actually need to have a term for that. So you hit the ball back, it bounces once, and then the guy hits it back to you, bounces once. I thought it could only bounce once.
Well, me too. So now
it's a dill ball.
Okay, so now I'll be out on the court. This will be the next story, and I'll be calling dill ball.
Right, just because you're volleying back and forth in bounds, like you're in the lines and you're going back. So but you did say dead ball, and a dead ball is a ball is declared after a fault. The point is over.
Okay.
So if you hit the net, and it goes over, into the opposing player, you get another serve, right?
Yep.
But if you hit a net and it comes back on your side,
that's a dead ball.
There it is.
But not a dill ball.
No. Or a dink shot.
Or a dink.
Or a drop shot. Hey, I've had a couple drop shots on the field.
Oh, do you now? What are you talking
then
about?
You know what? It cleans up real quick. It's
not
like,
Tony, we really didn't need to put that in now.
Yeah, you just got to drop.
Oh, Lord.
Sometimes you're playing, people in Guyman, Oklahoma.
Okay, you know what? Next time, why don't you wear your Depends, okay?
All right. Ooh, Depends.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's a quick version of all those new terms. We have to take one more break. We'll be right back with the doctor and her interesting story about this young kid. Super inspiring and probably one of the best stories we've heard all year. Thank you so much for listening to Keeping Up with the Pickle and the Balls. Dill ball, that is. We'll be right back. Hey, and we're back with Dr. Don and Getting Down with the Pickleball. This is Tony. And we've been yapping all day about cursing and getting a shot at something more than anyone should in any type of situation. And now this pickleball news is really interesting. And if you heard the opening monologue, it's so inspiring. I can relate to this in a few ways. I've had friends of this nature. But there was this kid, this 15-year-old kid, Dr. Don mentioned, that came out of actually Hemet, California, which is pretty east of Los Angeles, past Riverside, and it's on your way in there in the Palm Springs area. And this kid's 15 years old, and like she said, won a gold medal in the recent pickleball tournament that he had been in. Now, Dr. Don, if you see a 15-year-old kid on the court, are you thinking he's in the wrong place?
No, actually, pickleball is being played in the middle school now. I was surprised to find out that my children mentioned to me that when they were in middle school, they were playing pickleball. So this is something that the youth is really interested in, and I think it's great.
Right. Well, I wanted to bring up that because this guy, as you mentioned, had this disability when he was born, cerebral palsy. But like I had some buddies growing up, and they had something incorrect with them, whether that was, hey, I didn't have a couple fingers, or my arm stopped at my elbow, but they played like they didn't even think anything was wrong with them. That this chick's laughing, ladies and gentlemen. I have no idea why. It's true though.
Your friends?
Wow. Yeah, they lost some fingers as a child, and
Okay, it's just...
And one guy was born without two of them, and he still pitched. He still played, knowing that, everyone else had five, and then he was like, what's going on? But that didn't stop him. Holy moly. I'm just trying to say...
Okay, back.
Disabilities are, to us... We feel worse about them than the people that have them. They don't even know it's a difference between us, mostly. But according to you, that's hysterical.
Of course not. It's just that you throw out, there's so many disabilities, and you just throw out the randomness that someone isn't born with fingers. I was just not, that's terrible.
But it's physical.
No, I know, but it just...
And they don't even know they're different. Cerebral palsy, is like... Where, if you lost a couple fingers and you're down to 8, it's right there in front of you. You can see that. But I couldn't see. I look at this kid online and he looks like he's just a 15-year-old kid having a good time. You wouldn't think that. No. Except he does have it. And what's even more bizarre probably is if you played with the guy, you wouldn't know it either. So pickleball must have a way bigger healing thing about it than most people are giving it credit for. Sports do that, or overcoming things, drawing, like if you want to be an artist and they were born with no arms, but they can draw with their feet like they had, way better than you and I. But I'm always interested in the fact of what you said. It's the parents.
Yep.
That's where it comes from.
I think so. I think the fact that the parents saw him as just being a normal kid and probably said, hey, you can do whatever you want to do. You can do anything. Just put your mind to it and be passionate about it. And so I think that this kid found a love in pickleball because, again, it's one of those sports that you don't have to be an athlete at. You can excel at it because it's a thinking sport. And a lot of people don't know that actually don't play pickleball. They just think, oh, it's between like tennis and ping pong, and it's this funny little sport with this funny little name. But the reality is, once you get into it, there is a lot of thinking that goes on. And I would imagine that this kid is pretty bright, and he figured out how to work with his disability and play the game and come out on top.
Yeah, it's just fantastic. When I was reading the story, there was a few spots in it where he explains how he even got into it. He first said he thought he never would like pickleball, and he was scared because of his physical disability about it. But when he tried it, he ended up liking it a lot. And he made friends with, I guess, a co-player out there, but with a child at his school. And she had her own pickleball court at home and helped him learn how to do that. I know people don't want other people to know that they have anything wrong with them. They just want to go out and be as normal as everyone thinks normal is, right?
Well, he probably, is out there playing and just forgets about it, because that's the thing about pickleball. When you're out there, it doesn't matter if you've got a million things on your mind or what's happening in your day. You kind of just forget about it and enjoy the game.
So in his story, he loved basketball. I mean, that's what he likes to do. But, and according to his mom, she could see how frustrated he got. He was hurting himself as well. But what was interesting is that because he was so into basketball and then found this, and he's a freshman, ladies and gentlemen. And he said, if it's possible, he'd like to become a professional pickleball player and compete in the big tournaments. I thought, that was insane.
Yeah, he set his goal to something that he feels is achievable, and good for him. Why not? Why not just strive for gold in other areas?
I think it's just an interesting, uplifting. If anyone has any weird problems and you compare it to that, and then to overcome.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody's listening to the podcast and they're saying, hey, I play pickleball, I just started, maybe I have some aches and pains, maybe I have a disability of my own, or, can I get to learn this game? Hearing that this kid picked it up and he's excelled with it, you should know that you can probably, have a good time at it as well, and push yourself as far as you can go, and probably become a good player.
Totally, because the kid, we keep calling him a kid. His name's Raymond. He found it that the basketball physical challenges were so demanding that he was getting discouraged. Mm-hmm. And then, inevitably someone's going to make fun of it or get angry. Why is that guy playing when I have kids that aren't physically like that? And whatever that comes with the nasty side of that.
Well, listen, I'm on the pickleball court with people who have blown their knees, who have hip replacements, all kinds of things, and they're still out there playing. It's amazing to me. They're at the kitchen dinking, they're serving their balls, they're doing the best they can to run around, and what's wonderful is when you play with partners, you could talk to your partner and say, hey, I'm good at this, or can you pick up on that, and really make it a team sport.
He seems to be the go-getter that most people are, especially at that age, and everything's open and brand new. I don't care if I have a disability, I'm good at it. Where other people get a little disappointed that I'm not doing as good as the others. Then they get neglected, and then they're not part of the scene, and then they'll lose interest and they become angry. They just do. I know when I've had broken bones and I couldn't play, I told them, tape me up, I'm going back in. And they're looking at me like, you're crazy, dude. Your wrist is hanging off your alarm. Why do you think you can go back in there and play? It's because you're determined and you will, no matter what. And so I think this kid has, not only overcome that mental part of it, which is killer amazing for any person out there that thinks that you can't do it. Here's simple reason you can.
Well, I think you probably are relating to this story a little more because of your own career in baseball and what you went through, and then being in football and then I think other sports. I think that for you, probably you understand the perseverance and pushing yourself, pushing your limits, and how mentally you have to get yourself there, not just physically.
Every sport is like that. The sport always starts in your head, mm-hmm. right? And then it gets to your physical ability to play. And in this guy's case, it was always the other thing. It's not in my head, it's in my body. What is it? And he found it. He also found it kind of funny that he said, and I'm seeing all these NBA guys buying up pickleball teams.
Oh, yeah.
And that goal. And we'll try to work hard. That's the inspiration.
Yep, and pickleball is certainly taking off. I mean, like you said, you have your people in sports that are now into it, people that are, your actors, your people in the film industry. They're promoting it. They have merchandise. This is a sport that's just really taken off in America.
Yeah, well, I hope this gets somebody off their couch that thinks they're just too tired or something else is prohibiting them, because you can do it at any age, as it turns out.
Yep, any age.
Well, that's all the time we really do have.
Mm-hmm. Well, you'll have to join us next time. Right?
Okay, Don, do we have to join us? Anyway, that's all the time we have for this round of Getting Down with the Pickleball. As always, Dr. Don, thank you so much. Always insightful, funny. We didn't get too much of the sex therapist stuff, but, 15 times?
Yeah, I don't think...
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. 15 times, yeah. Well, we'll talk about it next time.
Okay. But really, if I got 15 times, I wouldn't be able to walk. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, that's not what I was talking about.
No, what I meant was if I had 15 times at the same thing. Okay. We're going to end it with that, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks so much for listening. Check us out next week with Getting Down with the Pickleball with Dr. Don Michael. My name's Tony. I'm glad you joined us, and keep pickling the picklers, people.